going, but there goes the LeBlanc out of H2K. It's not the Kennen. That means Kennen or Shen is getting through.
Exactly. Either Kennen or Shen, or maybe both. And you get that trade between the two teams. Elise has been a good pick for Broxah, but as you highlighted, the fact that Rekkles got that last pick, Vayne, made it a really good pick against the Tahm Kench lane.
And what's very important to me, that Elise performance is now mirroring how good Broxah's Lee Sin performances have been in the past. Maybe even better. The impact for Broxah is undeniable. And the last ban from H2K is going to be Rise. So Elise is up, Shen is up, Kennen is up. What a Fnatic first pick?
I think Fnatic at this point, like the Shen is the most likely one, and as it comes through, that is the case, because H2K, they can take away the Elise if they feel it's been a problem, but they may just go the Rengar, the Graves that we've seen out of H2K before.
Does Fnatic get Kennen as well? Do they pick that in this rotation, or is that too risky?
I think H2K can take Kennen here and use it as a flex. Either put it top lane against Shen or put it down bot lane. They do value the Ashe. I'm glad to see Elise here. I think this is smart. I understand that, you know, on the meta rankings, the Graves and the Rengar is above it, but when it comes to just denying comfort, Broxah has been on this champion twice, so banning Lee Sin in that sense lost a little bit of its value. Now taking it away is important, but I think like Rengar, Graves will just be the choices for Broxah.
And I wonder now, as we head further through, there's the Kennen, it is the AD carry that we've been talking so much about. First game it's been available and Fnatic lock it in. Now you look at it, two strong side lanes. H2K quickly round out with a strong blind pickable mid laner of Syndra. H2K, this is a different type of setup, and I actually think this is beneficial when they can fight a little bit harder in the early game, I feel.
I agree. I think it's a stronger early game. A lot of pick potential. Ashe also is like one of the safest AD carries to pick. She has a strong lane. If you pair her up with a range support, can definitely beat the Kennen. But yeah, they're removing so many Syndra counters. LeBlanc already gone. Echo is now being banned away. The thing is, Caps is the guy with so many different picks. And I don't think he would allow them not to take Syndra on Fnatic's side if he had nothing left to play.
Deficio, Fnatic have played 36 games coming into this series, and Caps played 16 different champions in that middle lane. The vast majority, 1, 2, or 3. And you can see with Fnatic's picks and bans over the last few weeks, undefeated with Shen, 4-0. They're 4-1 with Kennen. All of the wins in the ADC role belong to Rekkles. Now he has to prove that he truly is the one true Kennen.
And it is good for Fnatic that their focus is on these mid lane champions. Actually, no ban here from H2K in the end. I normally want to say it's on purpose, but sometimes the coach after is like, no, actually we were just last second gonna pick something, but no ban from them. So this means all the range supports, Karma, Fiddle, Zyra, they're open.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of supports Lulu, you need with Kennen for him to have a strong laning phase. And also for Shen to be able to ulti onto a strong bot lane. The Braum shenanigans didn't work because you would lose lane, and then Kennen would be useless. But now Fnatic can get a strong 2v2 lane.
And what a big pick the Rumble would have been for H2K. Typically has been one of Odoamne's best performing champions. Now you can't play it into the Shen. Likely tank versus tank in the top lane.
Possibly. I want to see their top lane pick here. I want to actually save this last pick for support, so you know what the support is from the side of Fnatic. I can only see Zyra as the one because it's such a strong power pick. And that's okay, because it can lane against Karma, it can lane against Lulu. That was the one pick to go for.
What? Okay.
Okay.
So, Aurelion Sol into Syndra. This is something that would make Vedius very happy and excited a few patches ago. He was talking a lot about it. I can see a huge grin on Deficio's face, as Caps was the man that would pull out some shocks and surprises, and it's Aurelion Sol.
During Worlds, when Syndra were winning everything, some mid laners, looking at like CLG here, were actually okay taking something like an Aurelion Sol in the mid lane against it. And the thing is, you can't lose lane if you're not in lane.
Yep. and it's not even a bad thing that you're out of lane, because you
recall, it's a really good thing.
You get right back, you can go to another lane, you can roam so much, and you just don't tend to drop behind. And as you're talking about, you can't really lose lane that hard unless you make a mistake.
Gentlemen, can you remind me, what have we said about H2K and surprises? They don't like surprise parties.
No, they hate them. They absolutely hate surprises. Now, Renekton means that H2K, they're angry. Especially Odoamne, he's mad because he wants now blood in that top lane. Elise Renekton is the dive combo against things like Shen as well. I still feel like because H2K decided to show support, it actually allowed this Camille support to come through again for Jesiz, because he's fine playing against the Zyra. He just needs to survive a few levels. And it's because he's fine playing against the Zyra. He just needs to survive a few levels. And H2K are not really surprising anyone with the Renekton.
No, and that's a big amount of crowd control down in both bottom lanes when you look at it. So around that level 6 mark, maybe we'll see a lot of trades down there. But you talk about that Renekton, I feel like sOAZ should be able to play around the threat of the dive from Renekton Elise. Like, it is straightforward. It's difficult to deal with if they get there, but if he's respecting it well, the Aurelion Sol can also cover and make it a 3v2 potentially.
If you're sOAZ, before that dive even happens, you wave goodbye and you go to the bottom lane, because the reason this Camille can work after a few levels against Zyra is Zyra has no mobility. And using Camille E as a massive gap closer means you can always get to that Zyra, and then Shen ulti comes in. So it's actually extremely easy for Fnatic with double CC bot lane to set up plays against this Zyra AShe. And that's again why this Camille can really work for Jesiz.
Oh, and I can't wait to see Caps flying down with that gigantic Q, the Star Surge. Also bring that to play. Comment of Legend. All of the roaming, all of the surprises, all of the days. That is what has cost H2K in the past, and that's what Fnatic will be leaning on. Is this the last game of the quarterfinals? Will Fnatic stun the world and go 3-0 against the pre-match favorites, H2K? H2K, hard to kill up until today. Fnatic don't care. 2-0 up as we load up for game 3.
And not only is there a lot of offensive threat coming from Fnatic, you see a lot of defensive capability as well. The voice of light, the pushback, the stuns coming from Rekkles.
Have to point out as well, a couple on your screen. They're in picture-in-picture. They traveled 950 kilometers to come to the studio and watch Fnatic play. I met them before the show, and their exact words, we didn't travel 900 Ks to watch Fnatic lose. They've definitely got their money's worth today, that's for sure.
That could have been a gamble.
Definitely a gamble, but paid
Depends
off.
whether you booked that in like week 3 or 4, right?
So Aurelion Sol, guys, funny enough, was never that big of a pick in Europe. Like, I never really felt like Aurelion Sol were like really the thing to look at, even when he was very strong. It was a lot of it was like during Worlds, we got to see it MSI, we got to see it as well. But there were, of course, some EU mid laners using it. But this is the first time this split.
Yeah, we've seen him played a bunch internationally, actually.
It's almost mainly focused on international play.
Yep. Most recently, actually, Maple was able to pick up a win into Syndra in this exact matchup. And that's, of course, as you so eloquently put, Deficio, you can't lose lane if you're not in lane.
So some really good things for Aurelion Sol is that you can actually build very tanky and still be very useful. Like, we saw things like, you know, Rod of Ages or the GLP cannon, whatever the name is of that one, that cannon thing.
Hextech hose.
Hextech, yeah, the Hextech hose, thank you, I like that name. Early MR is perfectly fine because so much of your damage is based around like these orbs kind of just shooting around for a long time.
You've got to also look at the pedigree of the player playing it, because back in Challenger last split, we had a handful of pentakills, and one of them was Caps playing for Nerve on Aurelion Sol.
I remember that pentakill.
And that was a sweet pentakill. We'll see whether you can do anything like that again in this series.
I'm very glad you brought that up, because I actually casted that pentakill.
I did too.
Yep. It was a long time ago. How practiced is Caps? We just heard some praise from Exile on the analyst desk on how Caps' mechanical proficiency is so high. He's going to get tested. The start surge. I'm not going to find any CC. Cocoon comes down. Scatter the weak. Cleanse comes out. Flash forward. Will Jankos trade his life? Repel buys some time and going to get out of range. Jankos helps with first blood.
Just when you mentioned mechanics, I think Caps shot his Q the wrong way.
That's my fault is what you're saying?
I'm blaming you. Febiven did have cleanse, so probably wouldn't have made that big of a difference. If you could have shot at Jankos though, and forced him to maybe repel early, possibly a 1-for-1 trade. But early gank here, Aurelion Sol, you can stun him up, you can obviously lock him down because early in the laning phase, he's not going anywhere.
And that's what I wonder is, was Cap slightly off angle here? Was he trying to block like a flash cocoon coming through from Jankos? Like you wouldn't rappel down into it, so that's not what that would come from, but you can see a little bit of mispositioning. Jankos had that rappel to get himself up at the end of it all. That's clean for H2K, and if they want to come back for a reverse sweep, they need more plays like that.
Well, Jankos steals away the Elise from Broxah, shows up for first blood in Game 3, potentially the deciding game of the split for H2K. And I think that's important for Jankos and some confidence, because he's been bullied. He's been pushed around by the young former challenger player Broxah this series. And Jankos was once the king of all jungles when it came to first blood.
Last game, Jankos bullied himself. You know, walked into that Raptor camp when there was 0 mid lane control and just gave up a first blood. Bot lane though, again, Jesiz and Rekkles, they won a few levels. And then you start looking for those Zyra engages.
Yeah, especially when sOAZ gets stand united.
Yeah, and that level 6 point later on, as you said, Fnatic likely to go very aggressive, but for now, sOAZ has to try and struggle through this early laning phase against Odoamne. A big wave pushed out with the cannon, that allows him to recall. Will he TP back up or will he just walk it? Obviously, did get a bit of an experience lead, but that's because Odoamne ended up TPing back after recalling.
It's a pretty big freeze here for Odoamne, forcing sOAZ to come back and shove it all the way out, which he's going to do now. Odoamne, obviously, due to the fact that the big wave is not dead yet, is slightly down in levels, but he will go back up. So Jankos mid again.
My favorite spell, not going to connect. Cocoon is going to go wide. A little bit of a stun onto Jankos. He's able to escape. The Celestial Expansion is ticking away. Shot after shot. Jankos goes down. It's Broxah that gets the kill.
And this time, Caps does land his Q. He actually stuns Jankos. Make sure he stays alive. The stun also was dodged from Febiven. This is now really good for Fnatic. Good return kill. sOAZ will get his level 6. Bot lane will get the level so they can engage on Nuclear and Chei. Flash is down from the Zyra. Wait for that level 6 mark on sOAZ and you might have a kill.
Look at the minimap as well. After Broxah got the kill onto Jankos, he instantly moved into the jungle, placed a couple wards, and has backed away.
I actually want to see H2K push out this bot lane and then lane swap. Swap into the Shen lane when he gets level 6 here, because you have to push in the bottom lane. You can recall first. Avoid that potential kill on Chei when he has no flash.
6 for Odoamne, he wants to go aggressive, but that means Broxah's falling back. They know they can't eat all the way through the Renekton ult as well. I agree with what you're talking about. Attack that Shen post level 6 is what H2K need to do, but they've got to be careful because already Caps has been pinged. Look at how fast he moves out of the lane, can threaten bot lane. They're going back bot, Deficio.
This is risky. So risky by H2K. Jesiz at this point. 3 ranks into his stun, the hook shot. Very easy to target. Now, Fnatic does like to lane swap as well. They might have to run mid and then see where H2K is going with their dual lane before they decide where to go. Because if they go top now to try and match a potential lane swap and the lane swap is not there, they actually give H2K the advantage.
I just saw a couple of Fnatic pings as they were finishing their recalls on the bottom lane and then the top lane. So information revealed with Nuclear down bottom and Rekkles instantly peels away from mid to make his way down.
Yeah, the dual lane from Fnatic, they know, okay, there's a high chance of a lane swap. Go towards the mid lane, see where they're going, and then react. And that's why they're going back down to bottom lane. No flash, Zyra. She's so dead.
I think you're going to get dunked.
Why
Stand
are
united
you here?
as well. Chei. What a terrible day. Rekkles gets his first of the game.
They recall for 2 minutes, and the guy walks back to the bottom lane.
You just look at the mobility that this Kennen provides. It allows them to get there.
Is
it a dive?
Look bottom. Nuclear is going to get blown up by sOAZ.
It's like they don't even listen. That's the problem.
Nuclear and Chei were meant to be a safe bot lane duo that we thought Rekkles and Jesiz wouldn't be able to bully, and despite warnings coming through, it has seemed like Nuclear and Chei haven't been able to survive. Chei pushes up too far, gets caught, Nuclear stays under tower, doesn't respect Broxah incoming.
I'm putting my H2K hat on for a second. They didn't lose a 2v2. They lost a 4v2 because there was a bunch of Fnatic support. And this should allow Tower First Blood to be picked up by Fnatic and H2K second thereafter.
Now you say the 4v2 and
picked up by Fnatic and H2K second thereafter.
Now you say the 4v2 and I agree when they died there were 4 members, but before that, game 1 they overpush. This game, Chei on your screen, had no flash. He lost it in the 2v2. He still doesn't have any flash, by the way.
Goodbye, Chei, the voice of light in some celestial expansion. H2K are tilting off the face of the rift.
Completely. We talk about just lane swap. Level 6 Shen is going to come down to the no flash Zyra. You obviously lost the trade in the 2v2. You shouldn't have lost. They go back bot lane, and now they died twice each. They've lost the bot lane tower.
Oh,
yeah,
last
that happened. But the bot lane, guys.
Yeah.
That's Caps now. I'm not going to use the name we used in the previous game. But a very good outplay from Febiven. And that's going to stop the Dragon as well. Gift wrapped it for H2K, Stress.
Last sphere hit. Is that an outplay? Does that count?
I think it counts.
Syndra ult. If the last one kills it.
That makes it the skill button.
At that point, I mean, Fnatic, again, they're coming very aggressively into that bottom lane early. And we started the day looking at how H2K hadn't lost towers. Well, making plays like this for H2K is going to result in tower after tower. Again, Nuclear is pushed up in the lane. There's no ward for H2K to spot anybody coming through the jungle. And Rekkles just pops in and runs at him.
I love how Fnatic are just punishing mistakes here. This is exactly what Cap said in the interview before this, game 3. It's like, European teams, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, walking back bot lane against Shen without flash and then walking back to the lane after your tower died. And they just punished. Twice now. That was 4 kills on the bot lane tower based on H2K giving Fnatic that option. And Fnatic just took it and they ran with it.
Oh, TP coming in here.
Not again.
They're trying to go again.
Look at the mini-map. Nuclear's off to the right. No flash, no heal. Nuclear and Chei have been left out to dry. And the entire H2K team is just not helping them and guiding them and making...
they're doing it on their own.
Some of it is themselves, the first couple,
yeah.
and now they're just really struggling to play around it. And that interview with Caps was recorded days ago. Like, this isn't a new thing that H2K are just struggling with now, but Fnatic identified it clearly and are just taking H2K to town over it.
And of course, if you step back a little bit, Fnatic made the call in, what was it, week 8 to, part ways with Nico the Pico, and they embraced this style of play. Now, Caps is under pressure on this mid lane. The cleanse comes down. Defensive
Broxah
flash from Chei.
He's done again.
Broxah, he's going to deliver sOAZ on Shen. They look for Febiven. Voice of Light not going to reach the target just yet. Odoamne and Jankos now turn their attention to sOAZ. The rest of Fnatic, they're looking at another tower.
Yeah.
They've embraced this play style. They've refined it, and now they're in the lead in the quarterfinals.
Fnatic are just completely outplaying H2K in the early game. Even with the Renekton and Elise, that was probably his answer to some of this pressure here. But as we said in Champ Select, Sources said goodbye top lane, I'm gonna go bot lane. He did that twice, got a few kills, got a tower, so they never got to dive him up there in that lane.
H2K looking to set up a play on Caps that maybe works if bot tower is still there and it's the laning phase and nobody is mid. But already Fnatic are here. Broxah is easily there. sOAZ gets the ult. Nuclear's under his tower, half the map away. No one's there to save you.
And it's a classic BU5 thing where you start losing. You feel like you have to change your bans now. Oh, that's an arrow.
There it is. Cleanse was used earlier. Caps was able to flash away for now. Slicing Maelstrom's available for Rekkles. Does he decide to use it? Nuclear, still no flash available. Summon a heal buys a few seconds of time before Caps keeps stinging and biting Odo away.
You land an arrow with no follow-up, and this is the 3rd or 4th death for Nuclear now since that flash has not been available. H2K committing as if there's no way Fnatic can gather in that amount of time. They have Camille, they have Kennen, and now they've got Odoamne.
Whoa, even gonna interrupt. There we go. Jesiz and sOAZ not able to find the kill. Odo's going to use that slice and dice out while Febiven takes the tower. It's at least something for H2K, but they're 3,000 gold down.
I think it starts with the T, ends with the T as well, and then we can just move on because H2K are struggling so much in this game.
Are they ill?
Starts with the T, end with the T?
Yeah, what's in the middle?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Now that's
smart,
teamwork, boys.
You're smart.
All right, so this is the re-engage into Nuclear. And Caps is always looking at the next target because they know they're going to get Nuclear.
Caps is looking at the semi-final, like, already. It's G2 next for Fnatic if they end this game, obviously, if they close out this game. And they almost beat G2 a week ago.
I think that's so important. The former Kings of Europe Fnatic are possibly setting themselves up with a battle with the current kings of Europe. And all of the expectation was that H2K should win this game. Yes, Fnatic were good enough to win a game, maybe two. But Fnatic are outclassing H2K everywhere. Look at the item differences as well. That Hextech hosepipe, was it?
The
has been picked up by
That's
Caps.
the best name ever, by the way. So, H2K trying to get back in this game here. They need some success. They're getting this tower. They are sending a warning shot.
Yep. That's all that is. Just make sure Caps moves back away. So, again, the objectives now have started to go over to H2K. So, if they can slow down Nuclear getting caught, Chei getting caught, they can still hold on, but Fnatic have got such a lead.
They do indeed. The towers still very, very healthy. sOAZ and Jesiz don't quite have the damage. Sunfire Cape Shen not going to kill a Dominus Renekton at this stage.
And we're only 14 minutes in, so now the fun really starts if you're Fnatic. Because now you have this wide open map with Aurelion Sol, Shen ulti. Kha'Zix is like the best jungler when it's wide open as well, and you can find 1v1s. Kennen is on the way as well.
A lot of support coming in.
Aurelion Sol
Stand
too.
United not going to be available because sOAZ is dead. Jankos is rappelling up into the air and buying some time.
Well, that sucked.
So far, Fnatic, they pulled the trigger, but got caught out early as H2K were able to respond.
It looks like Caps was trying to come back over the Baron pit. I don't know whether the Q expired. Of course, you need a lot of mobility and movement speed, like swiftness boots, you name it, to really charge up that big star. But down in the bottom lane, Nuclear isn't with the team, so the numbers are still even here. TP and Stand United are available. Keep your eyes on that.
Febiven gets stunned out. The hosepipe is used, and Caps with the voice of light picks up what is a solo kill. Broxah jumps onto Chei for the second of the fight. The double in the exchange. And the tower's the target. Nuclear was pushing a lane with no tower to knock over.
Well, Fnatic, they just delayed the fun a little bit, giving that one kill over to H2K. Giving them, I guess, a false sense of security. Oh, we can defend, we can stay. Oh, wait, it's a Shen. Maybe you can't. And Fnatic, when they play Shen and Kennen, they will always punish you. Like, they're not going to lose on these two champions now, after they use those champions to get into the playoffs. And they're using them also to take down H2K.
We see the Rise ban come out in this game for H2K.
Desperation.
Was it really the problem in the previous game? Was it just they didn't want Caps styling on them? Well, you made the mistake. Rekkles gets himself the Kennen, and Fnatic have looked great all the time in this game.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I'm just so impressed by Fnatic over the last few weeks, you know? They fully embraced this play style, fully embraced their champion picks, and that's allowing these tower dives to happen and just looks so, so good. I'm going to ignore the mistake before this one that gave up a kill.
You called a mistake again.
Oh, it's next level bait.
It's mind games.
Right.
Like, look guys, we can defend. It's 4v4. It's Shen. And then now you can't. But again, I like what Caps was saying, being like, why are we trying to play this perfect League of Legends so we can maybe beat Faker and SKT? Like, that's not your goal right now if you're Fnatic. He was like, let's just focus on Europe.
Let's just survive to get to playoffs.
Let's get to playoffs. Let's play champions, you know, that can constantly create fights, create picks, that can split push a lot, and that can really punish teams who maybe struggle under pressure. And that's exactly what they've been doing. So goal number one should always be become the kings of Europe again.
Yeah. Then
you can start looking towards international play.
I mean, you go 2 or 3 weeks back, you're right, Fnatic versus G2 on paper as the semi-final, and people don't believe you, but this Fnatic has looked on top form, and we haven't seen this all split up until the last week and a half, really.
Well, let's also say that they do need to get over that final hurdle.
They do.
It is a good position to be in, 4,000 gold, but H2K have got that investment policy. An Infernal Drake, a Mountain Drake. Gonna throw everything at sOAZ. Stranglethorns will buy some time, and Broxah's forced to jump away. 5v5 potential in the top lane, and H2K can't hold on to their tower.
Yeah, and I'm not sure your investment is worth a whole lot when you need the money now. Might be good for them in 20 minutes, but we might not have a game in 20 minutes if Fnatic keep playing the way they're doing at the moment. Because as we said before here, the wide open map is where Kha'Zix, Kennen, even Camille support really start shining. Because again, the mobility on the Fnatic lineup is crazy. Every member can just move around this map so fast. And the thing again about Camille support is the range on her hook shot, the E, just means like if you're slightly out of position as H2K, she will actually get to you. And then the Shen ulti comes in on Jesiz, and then the fight is on.
And that's exactly one of the reasons how Fnatic have continued to grow the gold lead you just saw on their screen in this series. I mean, every time H2K try and make a play, whether it's a dive in mid, an Ashe arrow, anything in the last few games, generally Fnatic have fired back. And fired back stronger, got themselves a better lead, and that is not what we were expecting, not what H2K were expecting. No. Nobody really, truly, with a lot to back it up, predicted this Fnatic showing up
with
and
the ones,
potentially
who
3-0.
traveled.
Oh yeah,
they knew it.
There's a few people here as sOAZ got a lot of towers to push. He's under pressure. Jankos and Chei should be able to run him down. That haunting guys flash over the wall from sOAZ. Caps was caught out by what I can only expect a scatter the weak, but a little bit of pressure attacking that global, or relieving pressure rather, for H2K. They're down 5,000 gold, they're behind in items. Look at the minimap, Abyssal almost finished for Caps, Hurricane already finished for Rekkles, and now all of a sudden Caps is popped. He's going to be looking for Jankos, though. The Ashe arrow goes wide. Jesiz is the target.
Oh, he's got in!
Item. He's jumped in with a slicing maelstrom. That Hurricane is sending out those bolts at a mile a minute. sOAZ is now running for his life. He's being hammered away on. Double kill for Broxah. 3 members of H2K are down for only Caps.
Massive credit to sOAZ on getting the block on so many autos from Nuclear that were directed right towards Rekkles. He goes in, Rekkles gets the stun, sOAZ plays protection for him, and Fnatic just getting themselves towards this Baron. Again, it's Blade of the Rune King, Broxah, sOAZ, everybody can go aggressive on this.
And Aurelion Sol can get there pretty fast, but that was the only problem for Fnatic before. It was so early in the game, there was no Baron they could actually go and take. They had to just kind of wait around in the jungle. Nuclear.
Volley steal, come on. Do it for the W.
Oh,
give us more games.
Low.
Let's see, Rekkles is being chunked out. Here comes Odoamne and Chei. Baron's going low. Who picks it up? It's Fnatic with the earliest Baron of spring. Caps has arrived with the Comet of Legend. He cut down the Rift and he cut down H2K.
So we're 20 minutes into the game and Fnatic 8K goal lead. They got so many towers, so many kills, and Baron as well this early on. With your split pushing composition as well.
It's almost insurmountable at this point, so let's take another look at the fight. Caps gets blasted down by Febiven, to be expected from that Syndra, but here comes through the missed crowd control.
And this is why Rekkles is the only one allowed to play AD carry Kennen.
Because he flashes in, gets the damage down, then sOAZ comes in, helps him out a little bit, blocking a lot of autos, and Febiven's not long for this world.
He's allowed to flash in because his team played around it and communicated it. Have H2K won a team fight against Fnatic today? It doesn't feel like it because Fnatic have done so well.
Caps, good job of getting to the fight, cleans up. Fnatic are on the same page. H2K look like they've torn the book to pieces at this part.
It's also worth adding with these like team fights is, yeah, that's a lot of damage. But Fnatic's fights are like so rarely those like super standard 5-on-5 fights. It's always like, again, 1 or 2 guys fighting early and then everyone else joining after, so it's really hard to play against.
So, such a strong performance this series in the last couple of weeks by Fnatic. You see the damage numbers being put up. Jankos took us through the stats earlier. Is this the Rekkles that people are asking, how does Sven make #1 on the All-Pro list? Sure. Is this the one the fans are saying is absolutely the best AD carry in Europe? He's making a good argument towards that for now.
This is gonna obviously help those people trying to argue for the Rekkles on the All-Pro team. I don't think...
Well, voting is closed.
Yeah, so it's too late, you can't change it, but you can't really take anything away from Sven just because Rekkles is also playing really well. Let's just celebrate both AD carries.
I like that. Let's celebrate both AD carries. Fnatic will be celebrating, honestly, more than just Rekkles, because without Broxah's ganks, how does Rekkles get ahead, or sOAZ get ahead? Without Caps making some of those outplays all series long. Fnatic have thrown curveball after curveball, but they found their mark every single time. And look at this, H2K can't even defend. They're in a turret with an Ashe arrow, as Rekkles just uses that E to dash away.
Yeah, it's just really impressive how Fnatic have found answers to everything H2K picked in this game. Like, any pick in the pick and ban phase in the series, Fnatic had an answer. When they banned out the first comfort picks, Fnatic had new comfort picks to show up with. And H2K just never really expected some of these key ones, like Aurelion Sol, Twitch, Vayne.
Oh, look at this. Tower number 5 falls in the mid lane. Tower number 6, not long for this world. Fnatic are using this Baron bluff exceptionally well. As I added an L into that word for some reason.
They're bluffing with the Baron.
Bluffing with the Baron.
Everything is missing, though, for H2K. Every arrow, the cocoons seem to just not be landing. The mobility of Fnatic is keeping them safe in all of these situations. And it means H2K run out of options, and Fnatic punish every time they go aggressive. It's more of Fnatic dodging out all of that and then responding in kind.
That means Fnatic just extend this lead even further. So, Baron is going to allow them to get to the steps of H2K's base. More importantly, it gets them on the steps of Hamburg. If Fnatic close this game out, they guarantee they'll be playing in Hamburg, either in the third place match on Saturday or the finals on Sunday. The former Kings of Europe, 5-time EU LCS champions as an organization, with a team that barely made playoffs. Now looking to unseat one of the playoff favorites.
At the same time as all the praise that's come out for Rekkles and Broxah and sOAZ, everybody, again, Jesiz, I think, has had such a good performance in this series as well. This is probably the best Jesiz we've seen all split long. Yep. Like, he's been on top form. It's hard to knock any member of Fnatic at this point.
I'm gonna try. AShe onto Caps. He's gonna use the cleanse. Stranglethorns really doesn't do a lot. Taunt connects onto Odoamne. That's gonna buy enough time for Rekkles to get into range. Jesiz goes all the way forward, puts down the ultimatum. Febiven is the target. The Celestial expansion. 1, 2, 3. Caps is forced to run away as Jesiz gets the fourth. Is shut down in the end. H2K get aced.
Every single fight in favor of Fnatic. They just coordinated so well. With all the CC they have, things like Kennen, Aurelion Sol, Shen taunts. It just feels like H2K, for 3 games now, just not been able to do anything. And
Fnatic have peaked at the perfect time for the organization. It has been a rough split, but with 22 kills to 6 up in a match point game, in a quarterfinal series, this is what Fnatic needed, maybe heading towards a showdown with G2.
Where were you when Fnatic decimated H2K?
Casting.
Thanks, dude. It was a rhetorical question, but I'm so glad you jumped in there to answer it.
Just want to, you know, add some value. Look at this fight, man. Someone else talk.
Okay, that's the value. So, Caps was seeing his previous pentakill in his eyes here, but then you see the change in player. He backs away. The rest of the team can handle this one. You're so far ahead. Jesiz already locked him down. You get so much damage through from that Aurelion Sol, and then just quick tidy up at the end.
Oh, the question now is like, is it Rekkles, you know, play of the series? Is it Broxah, the man who's been setting up the early games? You can't really ignore this Kha'Zix game either from him.
You can't ignore any of their games.
No, all 5 members from Fnatic actually have been doing so well.
Well, that means we should vote for the coach.
Yeah,
He's going to throw down the ultimate. The Dominus not going to do anything as sOAZ manages to get the Shadow Dash and send Odo to the Shadows. Inhibitor number 2 available, juicy for the taking, and H2K have no response.
Oh, so that's Inhib down. Let's see, Febi's trying his best, but it's just hitting sOAZ at the moment.
Second Inhib's going to be an easy take, and now Fnatic will just swing up towards the top side. Baron's in 20 seconds. There's a big wave in the top lane, so Fnatic can just set it back up. We're only 27 minutes in. This would be the second Baron for Fnatic of the game.
With them Baron stats going for them as well. H2K at this point, like, it's so hard to kind of say anything because you want to in some way celebrate. They actually were fighting for first place in Group B for this entire regular season. And there's a reason people thought they were going to do well in playoffs. But then when you see a series where they get destroyed by Fnatic, then it's suddenly hard to remember the positives.
Here's sOAZ coming in to the fight from the flank. Actually cancelled that TP. He's pushing back in the bottom lane again. Fnatic just trying to drag H2K around the map as best as they can and open up more objectives.
It still feels like H2K still trying to find their feet. Remember, Nuclear and Chei and Febiven, new to the roster this split. Still developing, and there's been some ups and downs, all split long for H2K. They find themselves ending on potentially a very bad note. sOAZ is going to get caught out here by that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, taking a lot of damage from H2K. Is this where H2K find their opportunity? Fnatic are all split up. The focus is Baron for Broxah. He's going to be able to pick it up, but it may cost sOAZ his GA. He's been popped on the side. Voice of Light in the back end will help secure a kill into Jankos. Nuclear's down. Chei follows after. The goal difference was simply too much. And H2K looking like they're going to get ace.
Great block from Jesiz using the ultimatum to keep Jankos out. Febiven knows it's all but done. Fnatic surely have done it with the second Baron. They're pushing in for the win.
They are. Baron empowered minions, and Broxah will help knock down the second Nexus turret. Fnatic looking at 3-0. H2K, the former Kings Fnatic, are coming for the crown. Fnatic themselves do not believe it.
Oh, I think they believe it. Caps, he was confident going into this game here, and this was one of the most one-sided BU5s I have seen in a long time here in Europe. Fnatic had answers to everything in the pick and ban phase, and Fnatic completely outplayed H2K in-game as well.
All the way through, they were just saying we're going to play this style, different AD carries, not meta, to put it in quotes. Fnatic, they've got their own setup when it comes to bot lane, mid lane, you name it, they've got enough options. And they just moved right past H2K, 3-0.
It makes me really happy to see some smiles for winners and losers on stage. H2K simply outclassed today.
Yes.
An entire split on being the stronger team. Doesn't matter when push comes to shove in a BO5, and Rekkles, the rest of Fnatic, every single member looked great today.
100% agree. On pick and ban phase, individual play, it was all there for Fnatic. And it sets us up for that insane semi-final now against G2 eSports, because they played each other a week ago. It was a very close series, and Fnatic are playing so well right now that it's not a guaranteed G2 win.
All three teams from Group A advanced to the semi-finals. Misfits showing up yesterday, surprising everybody in their series. I dare say Fnatic, their surprise, their level of performance even more impressive.
A lot of people predicted 3-0. Let's just leave it there.
Around.
No,
just
could
not
have
this way
left
around.
it there. Could have left it there.
A lot of people wish that they could edit tweets.
Definitely.
Take them away, but
how the hell do you prepare for a Fnatic that plays like this? Not only their play style and their confidence in the early game, but Broxah looked good on Kha'Zix.
Right.
That's not something I've said in a while. Broxah looked amazing on Elise. That's not something we've said in a while. And Lee Sin was banned all 3 games.
well, we were talking about Lee Sin, Kennen, Shen, ban them out. That seems to be it for Fnatic, but they have so many more options available than that. And that was one of the most difficult things, is each option changed the play style ever so slightly, and H2K just did not react well enough.
I think the big thing here to really highlight is the bottom lane. Not specifically the 2v2, but how Fnatic will use multiple members around Rekkles and Jesiz. They managed to play around the lane with obviously the weakest communication on the side of H2K, Nuclear and Chei. It's something they talk a lot about. And every time the teams had to coordinate on the bottom side, heavily in favor of Fnatic.
Yep, Fnatic punished Nuclear and Chei as well as H2K's bottom half of the map. 3 games in a row helped them win. You're talking about the bottom lane. If I were to theorize who the player of the series was, you know, and it's a tough question.
Who?
Who would it be?
Who?
I mean, Deficio, I mean, do you have a guess?
You're putting it on me now?
I am, yeah. You announced player of the series. And
Whoa.
it is, drumroll please,
Rekkles!
Hey, there we go.
That was super lame, guys, but it's okay.
It's actually really tough because if we had a little bit more time, I think you can debate Broxah versus Rekkles, right? Rekkles helped finish it, but it was Broxah's early game impact that was amazing. But Twitch, Vayne, and Kennen, a 3-0 quarterfinal?
Yeah, that's respect. That is, especially the Vayne one, that is respect. That you can actually win that game as well.
Imp's looking at this, like crushing things in his hands, like,
my
I'm
picks,
supposed to be
my
that
picks."
player.
But it's funny. It's great that you have diversity from the bottom lane, both Jesiz and Rekkles.
Yep.
Broxah, as you said, showing up on some of the other champions, not being Lee Sin, and it just like it makes the pick and ban phase so fun now for us. but so annoying for the team playing Fnatic, because you gotta constantly keep in mind there's all these different picks. You know, if you show a melee support, well then Vayne might get locked in against you, like we saw in game 2.
Fnatic advanced the semifinals in one of the most dramatic ways. Let's round out the H2K split a little bit, because as you said, they've had a few ups and downs. Last year, you would have, if they weren't winning on sort of macro or playing the map, you didn't really believe in H2K. This split round, they've been a more well-rounded team. But unfortunately, we're seeing them underperform a little bit more frequently than they wanted to.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had them pinned even for finals performance, but the last couple of weeks have just looked rough out of H2K, and at the wrong time of the split, they find themselves out of playoffs only 1 week into it.
Yeah, they do, unfortunately. And that means Fnatic, they have taken that last ticket to Hamburg with a dominant 3-0 win. Jankos is sitting by with their top laner, sOAZ.
And I gotta tell you, sOAZ comes over